chair the Quality of Life Committee with Ren Bryan, who's joining us today. And I'm very excited about our topic for our Wednesday workshop today. And I really am very appreciative that our presenter was willing to reschedule when we had problems last month in our technology for her to present. So without too much further ado, I'd like to also welcome all of you to the session on AI 101, the basics I need to know, and hope you're as excited as I am about learning about this topic. We have as our special guest and presenter, and I hope I don't mispronounce your name, Ayra Sundbom, and she's the Assistant Professor of Education and the Director of Instructional Technology at North Carolina Wesleyan University. And she's also made some opportunities available to our members that I hope some of you will be able to take advantage of as we move forward in the future as well. So with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I hope I'll apologize in advance if I mispronounced your name, but welcome to our session today, and we're very excited to hear from you.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Wonderful. Thank you. So I've been reading through the chat. Thank you for introducing yourselves to me. I always like to know who's in the room. And as Lavita said, I'm Ayra, and I've been working, this is my 10th year at North Carolina Wesleyan. So that's pretty exciting. So I'm a long way from retirement, unfortunately, but one day I'll be looking forward to it. So thank you for introducing yourselves. And this is a guide to AI tools, benefits, and practical applications for aging gracefully. I'm not sure I want to age gracefully. I want to, kind of stir it up a little bit. So I have provided a QR code. So if you all know how to use QR codes, you can actually follow along my presentation on a different device, or if you need me to, I can provide the link for you. But it is being recorded, so you can go back and watch it, or maybe share it out with folks who weren't able to attend today. So. All right, so a little bit about me. I'm a faculty developer, which means that I have the fortune to work with faculty at North Carolina Wesleyan and other places to help them in their professional development. So basically anything with technology, the learning management system, AI, virtual reality, if they need help with their Word document, I'm the girl. So I love my job. It is never ever a dull moment. So I've fortunately fell into that. I'm also a VR researcher, so that's a virtual reality. And virtual reality is an immersive environment. You can do all sorts of things in there and learn and things like that. So we're doing one about physical activity and VR. We did a study last fall. We're getting ready to do one this coming fall with student researchers at Wesleyan. I'm also a farmer, so we have a small family farm. We sell our products at the Nash County Farmers Market and Wilson Farmers Market and Nightdale. So you can always hit me up there. And last but most importantly, I'm a mom to two wonderful daughters, Jolena and Logan, and they are 20 and 17. So it's a wild ride. And if anybody has any questions, if Lavita, if you would keep an eye out, please feel free to interrupt me because I can't keep an eye on the chat very well. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to define artificial intelligence, talk about some ethical implications, some benefits, tools, and practical applications, then go over a summary, and then finally have questions. So are there any questions before we get started? I'll give you a moment. Nope. Okay. We'll keep going.
Excuse me. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can.
You mentioned a QR code.
Yes.
Where would we find that?
Okay, let me go back to it. Can you see it now?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Let me know. Did you get it? Try to post the link in the chat. Yeah, there we go. It worked. Okay. All right. So moving on. So here's a picture of some chickens on my family farm. So when I think about AI, I think about not necessarily artificial intelligence. I think about like avian influenza or artificial insemination. But these are some of my pictures of my animals. And I always had a chuckle when it first came up. I was like, oh my gosh, what are they talking about? Where am I? Am I at work, or am I at school, or on the farm? Or, there's a lot of different connotations to the term AI. But for today, we're talking about artificial intelligence, and it's Chat GPT 4, which we just recently upgraded to Chat GPT 5. So if you have the paid version, it is now 5. So this shows how quickly these things move, right? So a month ago when I was going to present, I was using ChatGPT 4. I went on there this morning and it had been upgraded, and I was like, oh, wow, check that out. So I actually don't really know what the difference is between 4 and 5, or what I haven't actually used it. So we're on 5. I think the free version is Chat GPT 3. As with everything, there's a free version and there's a paid version. And of course, you get more benefits using the paid versions, but there's a ton of AI tools that are out there. So what is it? It's the field of computer science, and it's focused on creating systems or machines that can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. Or it's when computers are designed to think, learn, and make decisions similar to how people do. So some examples is it can understand language. That's really handy if you have to translate something. You can translate into any kind of different languages. It can recognize images or faces. So, like I wanted to look up pictures for my daughter Logan, so I went to my phone and I said, find me all the pictures of Logan, and there was like 5,000 of them, but it can recognize them, so that's pretty handy. Or if you're using your photo app, you can say, look for a piece of paper for me, and it'll bring up all of the piece of papers that you have in your photos, which I use that all the time. It's very handy. Can also make recommendations. So, you can ask it what movie you want to watch, or drive cars. I haven't actually tried that myself. Or it can play games. So you could play chess or video games with AI. So that is definitely a lot of stuff it can do, right? So, just a warning, I'm an educator. I work with students. I am actually the Turnitin administrator at my university. So I deal with faculty and students a lot in academic integrity circles. So, are they writing their own papers, all of that stuff. And I've been doing that for probably 13, 14 years, as well as I was a student, online student. So, I think that with any information, whether it's coming from the news or your friend and neighbor, or the internet, we need to check for accuracy, currency, and authenticity. So, do we have any librarians in the group? I know my recommender is um, one of our former librarians at Wesleyan. So somebody knows my daughter. That's awesome. Yes, they're in 4-H. They're a big deal in 4-H. Thank you so much. So is ChatGPT always going to be accurate? Probably not. It's getting its information from all over the place, from the internet. There's trainers. It's feeding into all sorts of data. So, when you're looking at information, I think that it's always good to have any kind of information that you hear with a grain of salt and say, okay, does this make sense? What is what's the source? and check for all of these things. They're so important, and especially in the university world, we we've had to look at this a long time, and AI has really brought it to the forefront. But I think that we were looking at these things beforehand, and so just check your sources and make sure that that your information that you're getting is accurate, current, and authentic, just like anything else that you're going to be looking at. So here's an example. So I asked ChatGPT to provide me make me a slideshow about AI. And if you can take a look at it, I know some of you look like you're joining from phones, so I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but what do we see when we're looking at what it gave back to me?
I see a chart with AI in education and ethics and social questions.
Okay. Oh, so what about underneath of there? Do we notice?
Try it out the future.
Uh-huh.
There's some gibberish there.
There's some gibberish, right? So, it makes me laugh when I look at different things that I ask ChatGPT to do. It does pretty good with writing, but when you ask it to make an image or a slideshow or anything like that, a lot of gibberish comes out. So, like, what is this? It says heel tama grakding. So, if you are going to use this for creative things, then I would definitely warn everybody to double check and make sure that everything is being spelled right and that it makes sense and all of that good stuff.
Peltomal grafting is not very popular anymore.
It's not, I know. I don't even know what that is. But that's just an example.
Did it draw the pictures as well? The
Yes.
flowers and all of that?
It drew it just, yeah, I just said make me a AI presentation, and it
Nice.
popped this up. So I didn't
Nice.
actually use the presentation. I actually made my own presentation, but I'm just showing an example. So
Yes.
definitely when you're using it, keep your eye on it. It's got to be babysat. So some helpful information for you. So there's different types, virtual assistants. You can use some popular ones are Microsoft Copilot. That like if you've got a fairly new computer, it comes already pre-installed. You've got Siri, of course, on your phone. You have Google Gemini. There's Alexa. So there's all kinds of virtual assistants that you have. Some things that they can do. So you can talk to them and you can say, hey, Siri, set an alarm for me to go to my doctor's appointment tomorrow morning. So anybody done that? Yeah. Yeah. I am trying to use mine better, honestly. It can answer questions for you. So,
Ira,
just like Google. Yes.
my doctor actually uses her phone to record our visit every time now.
Wow, that's and that's great. Why? Because when you're in the moment, maybe you don't remember, or maybe your doctor doesn't remember something that was said, but she could go back over and maybe she thinks about it later on in the day and thinks, wow, Carol said this thing. Exactly what did she say? And it could provide a good clue for your health. So it's very powerful in that respect. I mean it, and everybody has different notions of privacy and they have different comfortability levels, but for me, I think that recording it and having it be replayable and repeatable, that's a really powerful tool. That's great. I think that I'm going to ask my doctor to record me next time. All right, go now.
My doctor does that too.
Yeah. And I've been in technology for a while. And I'm going to confess I'm not an AI expert. So, but I'm a technology person. I'm a virtual reality researcher. But in all of the technology, in all technology, like the number one thing and the furthest that they've gotten in any kind of field is in healthcare. So when I look at VR or I look at AI, like the first field that starts using all these things is healthcare, because we need that, right? You know,
Yes.
maybe not so much education, but in educational healthcare, like we have a nursing program at Wesleyan, and they're, you know, they're the first adopters of all these technologies. So healthcare is, I mean, it's huge. We all want to be healthy. We all want to live a long time. So if AI can help us do that, that's great. Some other things that it can do, it can do tutoring for you. So like I wish that it would have been around when I was in school. I would have totally used this, but you know, like say, hey, help me understand, how do I work out this math problem? Or help me understand you know, this article. Like there's you can pull up a peer-reviewed journal article. It can scan it and actually summarize it for you. So I know when I was writing my dissertation, I had to wade through so many articles and spend so much time reading articles that weren't helpful necessarily, but you know, you had to go through so many of them. So I would have used it to synthesize those, to find, okay, these are the 50 articles you really need to read rather than all 400 of them. So I would have done that for sure. So translation, if you are trying to communicate in a different language or read a different language, I know some medications have different languages. Some of my animal medications are in a different language, so I've used that to translate. You can also have it brainstorm ideas. So you can have it, you know, figure out, hey, I want to play a game with my grandkids, and make them a innovative Easter egg hunt, and it can walk you through the rules of the game and what would you need to prepare and things like that. So any questions, comments so far? No? Okay, we'll keep going. So some things to think about when you're using a virtual assistant is, where's your information going? You know, if you're using Chat GPT or you're using Gemini or anything like that, you know, be concerned about your information is now in this database. But that depends on how you feel about your information. And like I said, we all have our rights, and we all have our feelings about the sharing of information and the sharing of images and things like that. So like for me, you know, I'm like, oh, I got everything out. I don't have much to hide. I'm okay with it. But depending on your privacy preferences, you know, you want to think about that. You want to consider, is your information that you're getting accurate and thorough? So when you're using a virtual assistant, if it's, you know, using it for your doctor to set an alarm or something, but if you're researching, you know, how do I cure poison ivy,
Worms for you.
you want to make sure that you really think about, okay, where's this information coming from? Who's recommending it? Is it the CDC, or is it like the Backyard Chicken website, or, you know, where is it coming from? Also, how do you stay organized? There's a lot of these different ones. There's a lot of different apps that we can use, right, on our phones and on our computers in our lives. And that, you know, this happens. So I work with college students, so I'm always hanging around the like 18 to 22-year-old crowd. And I ask them, I'm like, do you guys use a calendar? And they're like, well, yeah. And I'm like, okay, which one? And they're like, they can't tell me. I'm like, okay, well, do you use your Apple Calendar? Do you use Google Calendar? They're like, I don't know. I think I kind of use all of them. So I'm like, you can't do that. You need to use one. So, so being organized is important. Did we have a comment? Not yet. Okay. And so then the big question, and I think this is the question for anybody who is thinking about using a virtual assistant or using artificial intelligence, or what are the things that you want to spend time on, and how can AI efficiency make this happen? So, you know, do you want to spend time hanging out with your grandkids? Do you want to spend time hanging out with your kids? Or playing golf or sunbathing or reading. But what are some of the things that we can do that we can have AI do that makes us not have to do them so we have more time to enjoy? And I think that's a really huge question, especially for retirees, right? Because y'all worked hard and you're ready to take a break and do what you want to do. And I know my mom, she drives her tractor around and she takes care of the chickens and she hangs out with her dogs and she hangs out with her grandkids. Um, but she uses AI to as a kind of a personal assistant to answer questions for her and things like that. So what are the things, think about what do you want to spend your time on? How can this make us more efficient? All right. So the other thing that's pretty cool that
Excuse me. Hi.
yes,
Uh, sorry, people, I can't turn my camera on. Been working out. So
that's
let's go
okay.
back to, if we could go back to that question. I'm curious to see if you the previous slide.
Sure.
How can AI make things, I guess, more efficient for us? And I'm sort of interested in the answer or what people are thinking, because I'm really over here sort of pondering, what do I do at this point? What are some things you want to spend time on? And how can AI efficiencies make this happen? So I'm curious to see what people have to say, if you don't
Yeah.
mind sharing.
I'm curious too. How about if
Mhm.
anybody wants to share out, or you can put it in the chat?
Well, I'm working on a letter right now to my legislators
Okay.
because, we need a cost of living adjustment. We always get left out of the state budget. I've been a member of the Retired Teacher Association for about 7 years now. And we've never had a COLA. We've had a one-time stipend. And we have to send these letters out to multiple legislators, and they won't read them if they are the same. So I have Chat GPT as we speak. That's why I've been looking down, working on this letter to rewrite it and re-summarize it so I can send it to as many legislators as possible. And each one will be different and personalized.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I'm with-
that's what you're passionate about. I mean,
Yeah.
you're doing it. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
We work with
And
Winston-Salem.
15, 20 years ago, you'd have to type it out.
Over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anybody else?
I've been using Copilot to work on a proposal for a presentation. And
Great.
it's amazing what it will do. And I'm interested in that part about the memory behind my Copilot, because it seemed to remember things I asked it 3 days ago. And I'm going, wait a minute, I didn't say anything about that this time, but it pulled back information I'd put in earlier.
It does it remembers, and this is why we're talking about virtual assistants, because these AI programs actually kind of get to know you, and they have a persona and you have a persona. You can actually make a chat and say, I want you to act like you're a fish that lives at the bottom of the sea and you're going to talk to me like this. And they have actually a persona. I have a friend who based his AI assistant after some kind of ancient goddess. Her name is Boudica, and he's like, he talks to her, hey Boudica, what do you think about this thing? So it can help you really with brainstorming, like I want to do this project. I don't know how to get from here to here, but it can give you the steps of, hey, this is how you do it. So I was thinking about, hey, can I run a budget for my farm? If I tell my AI assistant, hey, I spent $100 on dog food, put it in my database, like, can it do that? And I actually don't think it can yet, but I don't know. We've got Chat GPT 5, just becoming live, so we'll see.
My daughter actually used it to outline a vacation plan and put in places to stay, things to see, and a little bit of a budget of how to spend or what they were going to spend money on.
That's
amazing.
awesome. You guys are doing it. You don't need me. You got it going on. Anybody else?
I have a
Well, let's-
question. Which app would you think would be the best to start with if you've never used one before?
Um, I'm not sure. A lot of people recommend Gemini. It's owned by Google. We've probably been using some like Siri or Alexa with our phones for a long time, and those are AI. They're just not generative AI. So, Siri just tells you like it is, right? It doesn't have this persona of getting to know you and remembering the things from a few days ago and things like that. So this machine learning capability that these new ones have, makes it more personable. And I think you can go further because you ask Alexa, well, how's the weather? She can tell you how the weather is, but she's not going to tell you how the weather was when you asked 3 days ago, or that you asked 3 days ago, or whatever. I personally, and there's a ton of them out there. I've started using Gemini rather than my whatever it is on my Google phone, the Bixby or whatever it is. So I'm using Gemini on my phone. And I have to get in the habit of doing it too, because it's very powerful, but I just, forget. And then I use Chat GPT. Chat GPT is powerful. If you have the paid version, it's going to do more things than the free version, but the free version is pretty good for, doing these things that we're talking about, writing the letters and making the vacation plans and stuff like that. Because, like you're just looking at it. The vacation plan, I love that because you're on vacation. So it's kind of a low stakes thing. And you're like, okay, well, look, give me some ideas for what I'm gonna do. It's not, like in your career that might have rash consequences. So those type of things is very, very handy. So Gemini, you've got Chat GPT, there's Copilot. So there's all kinds of different ones that you could try. I would say try them and see how you like them. That's what I always do, try a couple of different ones. All right, any other questions before we get moving again?
Well, I was just going to say, so I'm retired, retired industrial engineer, and as a project engineer, I had to investigate whether projects were justified. So I had to run a return on investments.
Yeah.
And so my thing is that can I give AI the input is about the expense, the capital, the depreciation, all of those variables, and it do the ROI for me, or can it do that? Because currently I am into some budgeting and doing some different projects our own here as retired. And so I was like, it'd be great if I had that program from work to go ahead and just put those numbers in.
Right.
So
Yeah, so you can try it, with and different ones. So there's one called Claude too that does things differently. So they all do things a little bit differently. And I have a lot of instructional designer friends that are like, oh, you got to try this with Claude or whatever. So you could try it with a couple of different ones, but you can say, hey, here's the numbers and give me the return on investment. And then say, okay, like what about with these numbers, or you have a different time frame that you're talking about, right? So
right,
like
20-year
compare
or
and contrast.
20-year return or 10-year return.
Right. Right.
And then putting in the intangibles and all of the costs and all of those different scenarios. This is what I did at work. So I'm
right. So yeah. So computers are really good at making calculations so that we don't have to do it, right? So I had a friend one time, he was like, well, I heard that you told this other friend that we don't ever have to count anything again. I'm like, no, you don't, because the computer's going to do it for you.
Exactly.
Right. So yeah, those are the things that the computer can do and the AI can do so that you can have time to do the other things you're trying to have fun doing and enjoying your life. Yeah.
Okay. But the name of that was, what was the name of it?
I would try Chat GPT first or Gemini and see which one you like and what comes out and what it gives back to you.
And Claude, you said Claude.
Claude, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
I just wanted to say something quickly. Um, this morning I used Chat GPI, the free one, because I wanted to find out if it's better for me to pay off my home mortgage, or because property taxes went up crazy, or to invest the money. It explained everything, gave me different ways that I could invest the money instead of paying off the taxes. I mean, paying off the mortgage. So it's
That's
very good. I was shocked.
yeah, it's very handy. So actually my bachelor's degree is in computer information systems, and I studied that back in 2001 to 2004. So in 2004, I graduated with that. And a lot of what I studied was decision support systems, which is exactly what you are talking about.
Decisions.
So when you're
Mhm.
talking ROI, I'm like, yeah, I remember doing the spreadsheets, back in the day with the Excel, because computers are supposed to make us more efficient. And AI is taking that to a whole new level at this point. So that's awesome that you are using that to make good decisions about your finances. I like that. That's awesome. All right. Anything else? All right. So another thing that AI can do is summarize and compare. So it can do videos, pictures, articles, all of these different things. So you can actually give it a YouTube video and say, I want you to summarize this YouTube video. Tell me what happened. There's also some called Note GPT, Nada, and Cider. Those are the ones that can summarize the videos for you. So I would love this because I'm always trying to learn new things, right? Like how do I fix my cow milking machine? So like I could say, okay, like look at these videos and tell me which one I actually need to watch, because sometimes, you get in there and you're like, okay, that one's not going to work. That one's not going to work. And then, you've wasted an hour trying to figure out how to fix this silly thing, right? So that's pretty easy, or a pretty nice thing to do with it. So I can also summarize articles like peer-reviewed journal articles, websites, anything. It can just, read it quickly and figure out like, okay, what's the gist of this thing? I wish I would have had it when I was writing my dissertation, because I was reading hundreds of articles and trying to get through the sea of literature. And that would have been really helpful to me. So I would recommend anybody who's going to school to summarize the article and then figure out, okay, here's your pile of articles that now you can really dig in and understand and digest these things. So Chat GPT, Claude, Gemini, Grammarly, Quillbot, those are all things that can summarize text items for you. And then Rebecca, thank you. So she said an interesting read is Coded Justice by Stacey Abrams. So thank you for that recommendation. Okay,
I would
so
like to
then
add something. Excuse me.
sure.
This is Edith Berry. I just want to add something because I know you mentioned about those things for summarizing. Please, for everyone, please be cognizant of Grammarly and some of these things that when they summarize, sometimes they're not all correct. And yes, even when I did my dissertation, and using Grammarly can kind of help sometimes, but sometimes it was putting in the wrong grammatical words that was not fitting in with the sentence. You still have to go back and read it to see if it fits properly. So just be mindful of that. Don't let that be the all in all, but still go
Yes.
back and continue to read. Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Like I said before about information literacy, we need to consider like is this legitimate information that is being fed back to us? And that's I work with college students, and they're all writing papers and all of these things, and our faculty are freaking out because they're using this stuff in their papers, and I have to help bust them, and I don't like doing that. That's not fun for me. But I'm like, okay, definitely see what you're getting out of it, and and check the sources and don't believe everything you see. So some skepticism is a powerful tool. All right, so this one is cool. It's identification of things. And I love doing this. So you can actually use Google or Apple Lens. Google has in the Chrome browser, you can add this tool to the Chrome browser. And if you're using Google Chrome, you can actually ask it with the browser to identify the picture of what you're looking at. So it's also an app on your phone. You can use the Apple Lens or you can use the Google Lens, and you can point it at anything and it will tell you what it thinks you're looking at. So that's pretty handy.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. So you can look at plants, flowers, animals, people, places. It is not always right. I tried this with my technology and education class last semester, and I said, "Hey, you guys, let's try these apps that can identify things." And there was one, I took a picture of one of my places on campus. So I work at North Carolina Wesleyan, and it's in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. So I took a picture of something there and it said, "Oh, you're in England at this other place." And I was like, okay, that's not right. Definitely a Rocky Mount. But then I took a picture of somewhere else on campus and it said, yes, this is on North Carolina Wesleyan's campus, so on and so forth. But some of these apps are really amazing, especially the ones with plants and flowers. You can just point, take a picture, it'll tell you what plant you're looking at. So they're really nice. And then you can also have it take a picture of a map or something, and it can analyze problems and images. Somebody knows my daughter from 4-H. She's in the wildlife habitat education program, has been for years. One of the things that they do is they look at maps, topographical maps, to see like what kind of animals would flourish there and like what kind of wildlife management they should use in those situations. I think that AI would do a good job saying, okay, yeah, like you've got, this is a wetland, these are the animals that'll live there, and so on and so forth. So you can use some analysis with things like that. So somebody said they use it for identification too. Yep. Have students have AI research, write paper, and then research the topic and then compare the accuracy of the AI report. That is a really good assignment, and I actually have my students do that too. Like we sit there with Chat GPT and we ask it questions, and I'm like, okay, like what, tell me something that you're an expert about. Like you think you're an expert about this thing. And we asked one of my students had a pet bearded dragon. So we were asking it all kinds of questions about how to care for the pet bearded dragon. And we were like, okay, is this right or not right? And they're like, well, maybe no, it's not. That's not right. They're supposed to feed it this other thing or whatever. So it's a really good exercise in the classroom to question it, and that helps teach our students information literacy as well. All right, so then you can also use it to create images. So here's one that I tried, and you can do this with several different ones. ChatGPT does image creation. I'm not sure if the free version does it or not. There's Canva. Does anybody use Canva?
I heard about it.
Canva's awesome. All the kids use it. That's
I
their
use
favorite.
Canva.
Canva's a nice program. I mean, it's snazzy. It's a really good one. I recommend Canva. You use like to make newsletters or posters or things like that. So it's very artsy, and it's a very good looking program. So you've got Canva, you've got OpenArt, you've got one called Dolly. They can create videos, write screenplays, tell stories, make games. There's all kinds of stuff. So I said I was using ChatGPT, and I said, let me make a picture of a retired educator using AI. So it gave me it's good, right? So it gave me the picture on the left, and I was like, okay, well, and then I said, that's not sassy enough, and it gave me the picture on the right. So you can kind of play with it, and it'll do different things depending on what you want it to say or do. And you could say, oh, you know what, make her glasses purple, and it would change them to purple glasses, or you could say, okay, put her outside by the pool, and it would give you a whole different image. So that's something that's fun to do, to play around with. So I like that part. But again, when you're using pictures, you need to really pay attention, because if there was words in there, a lot of times they are misspelled. So definitely double check. All right, so we did pretty good. So what questions do you all have?
Excuse me. I don't have a question, just a comment. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm with being retired and so many different Zoom meetings and some of the
Yes.
groups I'm in, no one wants to serve as a recording secretary. And so we've found using AI Companion as a great tool for recording our meetings. And
That's right.
And so we just sometimes just go back and read over the notes, and if we need to make a comment or elaborate on something, we can. But we have found using AI Companion a great way to record the minutes of our meetings and present those at our next meeting. So just sharing in case somebody else might be doing the same thing.
Absolutely. And that's one of those great examples of how AI can make us more efficient, so that we don't have to sit there and pore over those minutes and read them and reread them and whatever. Like, computers are really good at doing simple tasks like that. So wonderful example. And what else are we doing?
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Could you talk just a little bit about security with AI and access to information, and how to protect your access or protect you from having other people access your information?
You know, that's a great question. And you know, you just need to be very mindful of what information you're putting out there. So as with anything on the internet, whether you're on social media or Facebook, or writing a website, or using AI or anything, it's out there, you know, like you don't always necessarily know where it's going. So, you know, I would be mindful of, you know, if I was looking for a new job, which I'm not going to do, but if I was, I would be like, okay, let me be careful where I put that out, because you never know where things are going. For your personal information, you know, don't ever give personally identified information. You know, don't put your credit card in there. Don't, you know, you give your social security number to anybody. Like, those things that are secure things, and I mean, that's like another whole talk, right? How to protect your information. But you know, keeping your passwords secure, using good passwords, changing your passwords, all of these things help you to protect your personal information. So for me, you know, I don't have any problem using ChatGPT to ask it questions about whatever, or saying, hey, you know what, here's my budget. If I have this thing happening or this thing happening, and I have this much money and I want my return on investment, okay, yeah, I'm probably fine with having that out there. But, you know, you probably don't want to put like really sensitive information anywhere in any of these tools. So again, it's information, your information security. There's a lot of different things that you can do to protect your information, but always be mindful that if you're on a computer, you're on a computer. And if you're on the internet and you're using these tools, then your information may be being encoded in those. And like ChatGPT, I think the paid version, there's something about information like that. And there's so many of them, and they probably change all the time. So like there was one that I heard that doesn't take your information that you're feeding into it and keep it in there, but the other one is like it uses it for its database of information. So you know, just as always, you should be careful with sensitive information. I don't know if that's a great answer, and I'm sorry, but but it's really an important thing to think about.
Can you go over again what she said about taking minutes with AI?
So yeah, so minutes, that's a great way to use AI. I used Noda, I think. I took some minutes recently, and I actually like wrote it like old school typed. But then I also used an app because I wanted to test it out. I haven't taken minutes in a while, but I was asked to do some recently, and it just records it, and then you can there's a lot of different apps that you can use. You can also record the audio just with like your phone or a recorder or whatever, and then I know Chat GPT can take the audio recording and make it into minutes, but there's all kinds of different ones that you can use. To take the minutes, and then it'll spit you back out the minutes, and then you need to read them again. But computers are really good now about being able to translate the human voice from speech to text. So, you know, like it'll just record everything, and you'll probably have to go around and mess with it and figure out who said what or whatever. But it's a very good tool, and is a very good time saver.
May I just add to the person who asked that question? Excuse me. So what we do, and we're in Zoom, we have most of all of our meetings. And I don't know what the other platforms do, but there's right beside the share, there's the AI companion button. And so that's what we use, and what it does, it records each person who said what. So if Gail Taylor said something, it's, it is sensitive enough, it picks up my name and what I said. If Carol responded to Gail Taylor, it is so detailed, right?
That's awesome.
And so that's, and so I'll be curious to looking at some other external tools to use to record minutes, but we've been basically using what's in Zoom.
So Zoom's a great program. It's by far my favorite. And that's awesome, because what it'll do is it knows that the audio feed right now is coming from me, and it's translating that into text, and it can tell, everybody said what. So for online meetings, it's, I mean, even better, right? So, everybody likes to scoff at online meetings where I work, but that's a really good benefit to those. So if you're in a meeting like in person, it probably wouldn't do that as well. So that's when you would have to go through and figure out, okay, like I'm in the Cattlemen's Association, which has just started in Ashland Edgecombe County, and I took the minutes for that, and it was a big room full of people. So there were like several different people that talked. So when I go to share the minutes, I have to say, okay, well, this person said this and this person said that. So there's still a little bit of work on my end. But if you're having a Zoom meeting, it's got it for you. You don't have to do anything. It's really nice.
Going back to using AI to help in writing a proposal or doing some research, do you give credit to AI or to Copilot or anything? Or do you look for where they found the information? I mean, what is a good way to authenticate what you, or give credit to where credit's due?
Right. That's a great question. I'm so glad you asked it, because that's something that I have thought about a lot, because where's this information coming from, right? So you have to figure out, okay, like is it Chat GPT's idea? And there are ways, and I haven't looked, but I'm guessing that like the Purdue OWL has some guidance, and APA is going to have to look at it, or MLA, like any of those citation tools, they're going to have to figure out, okay, this idea came from Chat GPT. It didn't come from Ayra Sundbom, but it also didn't really come from a peer-reviewed article. So like how do we cite that? So that's a great question. And I know that it's being worked on in these educational realms. What I would do if I was a student doing research or a researcher doing research and trying to give credit where it's due is definitely find the source. You know, where is ChatGPT getting this information? That goes back to what I talked about at the beginning of information literacy. Is this just coming out of thin air? No, ChatGPT is trained. These AI models are trained. They have information at their disposal. Where are they getting their information from? So it's kind of like watching a presentation and then looking at the references slide and saying, okay, there's this reference here. Let me go look at that and see. And then maybe that's, you know, where the actual information is being pulled from. So sometimes, or like you read a journal article and they cite from another article. So then you have to go and find the original article. So it's a rabbit hole, right?
Yeah.
But it's the same type of thing. But I know that it is being looked at. I should have looked at that, like at the Purdue OWL. I like the Purdue OWL for APA formatting, but definitely, you know, you have to give credit where it's due, right? And if AI is saying this and you can't find it elsewhere, then we're gonna have to say, okay, this is where we got it. We got it from ChatGPT. And I think I saw recently that that there was some guidance about that.
Probably have to ask AI to answer the question.
Yeah. Yeah. How do I cite you? What's the APA format? How am I supposed to do this?
It's been
What other
fascinating
questions?
to use. It really is.
It is fascinating. And honestly, you know, I was nervous to present to you all because I'm not an AI expert. But I thought about it and I said, you know what, I'm a technology person and I'm an educator and I'm a teacher and I'm a trainer and a coach, right? So I said, you know, I think it'll be good because these are like really handy tools that you all can use. And it's not like way up here. Like some of the stuff I watch about AI, I'm like, well, I don't understand what they're saying. So, you know, like if you use the tools that are there and use them with you know, with some skepticism and make sure that you're watching your information literacy, then they can help us be more efficient and enjoy our lives more and have a better quality of life.
Thank you so much. Are
You're
there
welcome.
any other questions for her before we uh, bring this to a close today?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
So I am paying for this app, picture this, to identify plants.
Okay.
And I have this for over a year.
Okay.
And this is all kind of new to me. So you're saying that, and I have an iPhone. So if while we were sitting here, I went in and I have downloaded that Apple Lens. So I would not have to be paying to identify plants if I use this Apple Lens.
Yeah, probably not. The Apple Lens is pretty good. And the plant app identifier, I mean, nothing's perfect and they've been getting better. These things have been around for years, right? But they're getting better all the time. And the more information that is fed to them, the better they can identify your plants, right? So I would say try it. Don't get rid of your old one and compare it and see which one you like better. And if Apple Lens, which is coming with your iPhone,
right,
you know, with the cost of your iPhone, you know, if it does the trick, then why pay for the other one, right?
Well, right. I know that sounds crazy, but I just didn't
No.
know. I know
It,
I have a friend who has a Google phone or a Google, no, not iPhone, but a Google
yeah.
phone. And so she's took a picture of like a red bee or something. And she said, oh, well, let me look and see what this is. So she said, I have a lens on my phone that identifies these things. Well, I thought, well, if she has that, surely iPhone has something.
Mm-hmm.
So I just
Yep.
didn't know. I've been ignorant about that. Those
Well,
things.
right. And to your point, Tina, There are a lot of free apps that do a lot of stuff. And the iPhone and the Android both have specific tools built into them. We're not even using, it's like your brain, right? They say we use what, 20% of your brain? It's like the same thing. We don't use our phones for all of the things that they can do. Like Google phones, I have an Android phone and it's a Samsung. But it has all kinds of cool tools that are just built into the phone that I don't even know about. I'm like, whoa, wait, I didn't know it did that. So, play with it, like there's all sorts of things it can do, but those identification tools they're really neat. I'm an outside person and I'm like, oh, I want to know what that is. And I'm curious. So I love that Google Lens. I use the Google Lens, and Google Lens you can have on the iPhone, I believe. So you could have both of them. They're both free. So yeah, please let me know what happens. I'm curious.
Did you say you're from Wilson?
I live in Macclesfield.
Okay.
So it's between Wilson, Greenville, and Rocky Mount.
Well, my husband is working on the tobacco market in Wilson, North Carolina right now.
Yeah, that's very close. Very
Uh-huh.
close, very close. So thank you everybody for allowing me to present to you today. And you're certainly welcome to stay in touch. I think
I have one
that
comment.
yes.
I have one comment. There is one free app called Planta, Planta, that will help you take care of your plants. And it's very good because I use it.
Oh, and it's free.
It's free. Planta, Planta.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love free apps. I don't want to pay for anything. So.
And it will also help you to identify the plants and remind you when to water them and everything.
Wow.
Okay.
That's amazing. Well, thank
I
you
have
all
a
so very
question.
much. Yes.
Are we,
Great.
is this the same for another one that's coming on, right? Will it be the same training? The AI training, there were 2 dates. Is this date and another date?
Oh, it was scheduled
think
for
it was-
July, and
it
then
was
we had to
July.
reschedule for August.
Okay, so this is the only one for August.
This is the only one for August, but you will be able to go to the website after it's uploaded and repeat this and maybe that would help if there were some areas that you wanted to look closer at again.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much.
And we certainly appreciate our presenter. For those who are educators, we all can appreciate the fact that she has class tomorrow. So this was her pre-class day. And she gave it very graciously if we would do it at 2:00 in the afternoon instead of 10 like we did, had it scheduled in July. And this has been a delightful afternoon. Lots of responses in both the chat and the participation rate. We cannot say thank you enough for your flexibility and for the presentation. And they may want you back.
Well, I'd be glad to come back.
Okay.
And just a reminder for everyone that our September Wednesday workshop is on September the 10th at 10 a.m. in the morning. We have a representative from the North Carolina Emergency Management Department who will be coming to talk about what's in your emergency kit and being prepared for the height of hurricane season and other emergencies that come up in the wintertime. So tune in and sign up and spread the word to your fellow retired school personnel members so that they can join us and benefit from this wonderful opportunity that is provided by your organization. And again, thank you to Carol for being our support personnel in the background. And thank you to our participants for being here, and certainly to our presenter for giving us this wonderful information today. And everybody have a great and maybe dry afternoon. I don't know. It's rained a lot here in Greenville. My hair's stayed frizzy for a week now. So
thank you.
If you're doing volunteer work, enjoy your time back in the public schools as they get cranked up to go back to work. I know I've already got my call from my daughter who's teaching that I've got my time to go back and do some volunteer work as well. So have a wonderful rest of your summer, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.